Okay. First, I want to mention that I already prayed that this video would go through. I've been having a whole lot of problems. I believe it's the attack of the enemy. I don't think the enemy want me to air this video of my statement, of my testimony, and been giving me quite a bit of trouble. The last couple of days, I have not been able to get this video out. I've been trying. I can't get the computer to work. I finally figured out a way to do it with my phone, and I'm hoping that it holds up. So I already blessed this video, and I prayed on it. Very important video that I get out. I just can't state it enough. I'm going to say, and I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. I am not on here for any accolades. I do this purely for the glory of my Father Jesus Christ. And this testimony needs to get out. It's important that people know the truth. Now, fortunately for us, there is quite a few videos out here that is telling the truth, and I applaud them and I give them all honor and praise for doing it and being brave, because you have to be brave to do this. And at the same time, it's not for us. It's not for me. It's for somebody out there that would listen and that could possibly be saved from an impending tragedy that is very close to happening, I believe. So I'm going to talk about why I know demons are real, and why I know that my Father Jesus Christ is real, and that He really walked this earth, and that your only salvation is through Him. That's as simple as I can put it. You notice I have my paraphernalia up here, and that's because I believe it's not even a belief for me. It's a know. It's a known. It's not even a belief. I know that the Father Jesus is real, that we all were created, and that we were created in His image, and that He is the Father. And there is no belief for me. It's a known. Now I want to say that I'm 54 years old, and throughout my life, I've always been curious about death, life and death, and where we all come from. I think a lot of people are the same way. I was a big time Trekkie. I believed in science. I'm a science guy by nature. I believe 1 plus 1 is 2, and I believe in the physics. I believe in all that, and I placed them in a certain ladder, in a category that I shouldn't have. I had them elevated, and I elevated science way too far than it needed to be. I would say categorically that science is proven. All science is doing is attempting to prove what God has created. And to me, that's all science is now. It used to be more, but that's all to me it is. Trying to unfold what our Father has created. And so I just want to put that out there. Now, I want to get right into it. So the other part, demons are real, people. And I'm going to abbreviate it, what happened to me. So back, and then also it'll lead into one of the most important seeds to be planted in me. And then after that, I'll go into how evolution and all that is ridiculous. And then I'll end it with why I'm a saved man, or why I'm a man of God now. And that's a really quick synopsis, and I hope that you pay attention. Okay, so 34 years ago or so, I fell in love with a young lady in college. By the way, I'm from Miami. I grew up in Florida, and I went to college in Florida. All right, and I have a family. I had a family. I have children. I'm 54, but my children are grown except one. I remarried. I am educated, bachelor's and a master's in business administration. I am by trade an executive. I run healthcare facilities, and right now I'm not employed now because of my choice. I've been on a journey, and so I'll go over that too in a minute. So basically, demons are real, emphatically. Okay, I had a girlfriend, my first love. back in college. I'm not going to mention her name, but I'll just tell you that how I knew it. I'll just how I found out this. She kind of told me, but I also kind of found it out. So one night we were. I have to be explicit. One night we were having sex, fornicating, by the way, having sex, and I've at some point during that I felt this weird fear in my spirit, and I heard this hissing noise from my then girlfriend, and I let it go. I thought it was the most weirdest and scariest thing I ever experienced, but I just, I was in love. I was young. I didn't understand many things as I understand now. All right, so again, a month or so later, same thing. We were in the process of having sex, and I had this fear come over me, and this weird noise. I didn't know what it was. So now I was a little fed up. I got out of. Now I couldn't even go to sleep. That last time it happened, I stayed up and thinking about it, and I waited till the morning till she woke up, and then I wanted to have a conversation with her. So conversations commence. I say, "Hun," I say, "Sweetheart, I don't understand. What is it that? What is this noise that I hear? That's really weird, screeching, hissing, screeching thing, and why is it? I'm scared when I hear it, and it's coming from you." Now, and I'm not. This isn't verbatim. This has been 34 years, but this is the gist of it. As I'm saying this, all the things that I'm saying is basically in memory of all of this. So I always have the memory of the gist. I don't have specific wording, but I remember. Well, what do I remember? So, she explained to me, in her own subtle way, as subtle, without disturbing me, that she believed she had a demon in her. And I'm thinking exorcist. I'm like, a demon? What the heck how can that be? I mean, I thought it was just a movie. So, I said, well, so she started explaining to me when she was a little girl, she remember a guy was coming down the sidewalk. She was on the sidewalk playing with her little friend, and as he got closer, she started hearing something, and she didn't understand it. As the man approached closer, the voice got stronger, and as he came right up to her, the voice was saying that man was going to die. So it passed by, it stopped like it never happened. She said she ran in the house crying. Parents asking what was wrong. She couldn't tell them. She thought that they'll think that she's going crazy, so she didn't really tell them. From what she was telling me, She also told me of a time when she was standing in line where there was a man, there was a young woman in front of her, and her mom or her father, whoever she was shopping with. The woman was pregnant, and she already knew that child, the demon was telling her that child was either dead or dying in her stomach, in the mother's stomach, and the mother didn't know it. Okay, she knew about my mother, who was an alcoholic, and who was always being abused and beaten by my then stepfather, who, by the way, I never told her because that was very personal, and I don't mind sharing that. My mother's deceased now, but she couldn't have known because I never told her, but she did know, and I found out through my research that demons have a way of knowing people's past, and I even think some short future events as well. Very, very personal things with people. And I don't understand how that happened. It's supernatural, but she was able to know very personal things about me that I never discussed with her. And so now I'm convinced. So now, and I'm making a long story short, there's some other things happening, but making a long story short, I figure I'm going to try and get her some help. So I do my research, at the time, I found a large Catholic church, I believe it was Catholic, and find out that there was a priest in there. I approached the priest and asked him if he could pray for my girlfriend because she had something going on, this evil spirit or whatever, and I wanted, I didn't know what to do, but asked if she can, a man of God can speak for her and to maybe pray and get this thing out of her. So long story short, the date come, we had it all planned. That morning we go to we was driving to the church, but before we go to the church, we had a little time. We went to a park. Kind of hung out there. It was a popular park in Tampa Bay, Tampa. So as we're sitting there, I noticed that she was kind of fidgety a little bit. So I said, okay, I looked at my clock. It's time for us to go. We get in the car. We start driving off. And I noticed her looking at this couple in the park. And I asked her after everything was over with, I'm like, well, why were you looking at them people like that? I didn't understand. She said the reason that she was watching them is because she's actually seen the demon's face on the back of their heads. And she said it had long, beautiful, wavy hair, but it had a hideous face, black eyes you couldn't see through, no pupils, and little horns, and it was hideous, is what she basically said. It was very ugly or whatever. And I thought that was interesting. And she drew it. She drew it and drew it for me. And I had the drawing for a few years, and I lost it. And I wish I never would have lost that drawing because it was so precious, so important for evidence, if you will. All right, so we're driving, and I now notice as we're driving to the church, she shut up. She wouldn't say anything. She just stopped talking, and she's crying. I'm like, well, what's wrong, honey? I don't understand. After everything was over with, she told me the reason why she was crying like that is because the demon was trying to speak through her to scare me, and was cursing me and saying all these bad things to me about me and to me, and wanted to say, and then she was really, really scared because she didn't know what was going to happen. Because she knew that something was going to happen, but she didn't know what. So as we get closer and closer to the church. So that's the reason why all of that. She told me that's the reason why she was feeling like doing that. So now we're driving to the church. We get to the church, and in the parking lot, all of a sudden, she bells out of the car, and I have to run after her and catch her and stop her from running. Like, she's crying profusely. I'm like, hey, look, baby, don't forget, this is what we plan to do this. This is so important. I want to get you some help. Look, I talked her into going into the church with me because she wasn't going to have it at first initially. The other thing she said, by the way, now that I remember, she said that the other reason why she ran out of the car is when we parked, she seen the demon's face, and it was kind of hovering around the church, kind of like hovering around the church, the face of this particular evil spirit. And it scared her, so she, that also made her run. Got her in the church, eventually walked her into the church. We sat at the front bench. I go in the back to talk with the priest and remind him that, I had my girlfriend and we wanted him to pray. And if he can come out and pray, he said he would come right on out. So I sit down. He came out and he introduced himself to us, to her, my girlfriend. And then he said, well, let me take your hand, and I'm going to pray for you at this, right now. And so he started praying, and I'm praying. I'm getting a little scared. And he's praying, and he's praying. And I noticed nothing happens. Nothing really happened. So then he stopped praying, and then he said, well, there's things I need to do. You guys can stay here as long as you want. And I hope that helped. And he left. And so I'm left there with her. And by the way, she's staring straight forward without blinking. She's not doing anything. And she's doing this thing. She's doing like this, And, I didn't know what to do. I'm 21 years old, a young guy, just in love with somebody and trying to help them. And so I figure I'll pray. So I got her hand and I started, I'm thinking, well, I didn't see that. So I started praying. Now, after everything was over with, she told me the reason why. When the priest prayer didn't do anything is because the demon knew that he didn't even believe in God. He didn't believe in Jesus. He didn't believe in any of it. He just went to seminary for his parents' for parental reasons or whatever, and he didn't really have the Holy Spirit in him or believed in Christ or God, from what I remember. So that's the reason the demon was laughing. She said the demon was laughing at him. In her, she can hear him laughing. So anyway, so I figured I'll pray. Okay, so I got a hand and I started praying, and I'm trying to, Lord, you can help my girlfriend. I didn't know exactly what I was saying, but I had more effect than he did. So what happened was, all of a sudden, she kind of pulled her hand away from me as I was praying, and she says, "Hey, Al, I got a great idea. Let's make love right here on the podium. Wouldn't that be nice?" Whatever. She's trying to talk me into having sex in the church at the podium on the floor. And I then get upset And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is so totally unacceptable. So I drag her. I'm like, we have to go. So I bring her out. I'm upset. I'm really hot. I think I was even cursing. And she gets in, we get in, and then all of a sudden she kind of comes through, and she's like, what's wrong? She asked me what's wrong. I said, you know what's wrong. You just said a horrible thing in church. You presumed that we were going to do it. She said, well, Al, it wasn't me. Now, I'm young, 21. I didn't know how this demon stuff work, but apparently the demons put when they take over completely, the person don't know what they're saying because they're taking over, and the demon has his way. And so the demon had his way, and it wasn't her. She snapped out of it, and she didn't even know what had happened. So it didn't matter to me one way or the other. I was upset, so I drove her home, and I didn't want to really talk to her for a while. All right, so that was amazing. So, but the most amazing thing is about to happen. So 2 weeks, 3 or whatever later, we get back together. I'm in love, so we kind of rekindled our, because I was really not wanting to talk to her anymore for a while, or ever. And so we got back together. We act like we forgot about it, like it never happened. One night, we wasn't making love or nothing like that, or it was just one night, really late at night. Both of us sleep. I wake up, I don't know how I woke up, but I look around to her, look at her, it's late at night. She has this incredible arch. This is her head, and this is the arch in her back. These are her feet down here. And I'm like, what is that? I mean, I start getting scared, that really fearful, deep fear feeling again. And I knew in my mind, in my instinct was telling me that this is that demon acting out. And she had a hand on her mouth, and it was tense, really tense, where you could see the veins in her neck, and where she was apparently trying not to talk. She was telling me the reason, after everything was over, she was telling me the reason she was doing that is because the demon wanted to speak through her, all right, to scare me away. Apparently there was something going to happen where I needed to be scared, and it didn't want it to happen. Whatever was going to happen, it didn't want it, So I was going to, so it was trying to scare me, and it was scaring me. I had the pillow, and I was all the way to the back of the bed, and I was crying a little bit. I had already lost weight because the whole thing was very stressful. So I'm crying a little bit, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So she's on this side, and so I noticed all of a sudden, and I'm looking at her, all of a sudden she started calming down. She kind of calmed down a little bit and looking straight up looking straight up to the ceiling in the bed, if you can imagine that. And as she's looking up, she's turning her head slowly to the left without blinking, slowly, calm down. She's calm and slowly look directly in my eyes. Now I can tell you at 21, if for anybody, you're going to be petrified. I was very scared of I didn't know what was happening because I know that was a demon thing. But then the most important thing in my life happened. One of the most important things. The other one I'll tell you. This was the most important thing. Not my kids, not my degrees, all my achievements, not becoming an executive, not owning a large house and having everything I wanted, or if you will, none of that matters in terms of the importance of what happened to me. What happened was when all of a sudden when she was looking at me, she calmed down. An audible voice came through her that was not hers, and it wasn't the demons. It was heavenly. Okay, the audible voice came through, and this is what it said. Now, I don't remember all of it. It was quite a bit, but I don't remember all of it because it's been almost 34, 33 years. I don't know. It's been quite a number of years, but this is what it said. And it was very important, and it was for me, and that's why it's so precious, because it was for me. It was very personal. So what it said, what the voice said, do not be afraid. It says, for I am the way, the truth, and the light. It says, the day will come when you and I will meet face to... No, he said, what you're doing for the girl's name is good, but you must first help yourself. The voice said, the day will come when you and I will meet face to face. And then it said, take heed to somebody's warning. I'm supposed to, and I think I already know who that was, and I've been watching some videos, and I believe I know what the warning was, and I'll see if I can remember to share that with you. And it said some other things, and then it sung, then the voice sung this most beautiful heavenly song I've never heard before, and I've never heard since. And it was heavenly, and it was so beautiful, and it was so, and the whole incident during that was soothing and warming. So I was no longer scared. I was amazed, and I was in amazement during the talk. I know that it was my Father Jesus Christ Himself, the Holy Spirit, or an angel. But the first thing I'm thinking, in my mind, I already know that it was Christ Himself speaking through her, a direct message for me. Okay, and really I need to be careful because I'll start crying. So let me. So I'm gonna try not to. So the voice came and said those things to me, and it stayed with me. It was a seed, because the seed blossomed here in the last year, less than a year is when and I'll go over that. But amazingly enough, well, okay, then let me back up. So she woke up, and she was scared. She was worried. She's like, "Oh my goodness, what did I do? I'm sorry, it wasn't me, Al. I don't know what happened." And she said, "What's wrong?" I was just crying, and I was crying. I said, "Don't worry about it. It's okay." I kept telling her it's okay, but she thought that I was mad again from the last time, but because she was trying to explain to me that whatever happened, it wasn't her. And I said, "I know, honey, I know." I kept telling her, "It's okay. I can't talk to you about it now." It was so amazing. She said, "Please tell me what happened." I said, "I can't. It's too much." It was too much for me to talk to her about. To have the Father, the Creator of the whole universe, come through her, because I was trying to help her and give me a message personal for me. Me, a little old me, 21-year-old, nobody, see, was amazing. And okay, so let me show you how amazing it was. So the next morning, I remember when I was going to school, I would always park in a certain area, and this dog would always bark at me. I always bark. I kind of liked it. I kind of got a kick out of it. So I parked, I'm still thinking about what happened that night. I'm getting ready to go to class. I park where I normally park. I get out of my car. I start hearing them barking, but I'm not really paying attention to them much. I'm thinking about, oh my God, what happened to me? I'm all amazed and mesmerized still by what had occurred some hours later. I get out my car. I look at the dog because he got my attention. The dog stopped barking, and he put his tail on never done this before, backed up from me like he was backing, like he was scared of me. Apparently, I still had the aura of the visit of the Father to me, on me. It was still resonating some kind of way, because the dog, that German Shepherd or whatever dog, it sensed it, and I'm amazed at the dog. I'm like, why is that dog acting? That dog never would do something like that. Would bark, would back away, and I'm happy that I even remember about the dog, because I forgot a lot of it. So the dog did all that. So now I want everybody out there, whoever you are, to keep down all that what I just said in mind, because it'll make all sense later on why I am who I am now. Fast forward 34, and I'm telling people all these years off and on, I'm telling people this story. I felt the need to tell certain people who maybe, I don't know, I just don't know why. Then I kind of stopped telling people, and then something happened, I'll tell somebody. Now, all that time I'm in sin. Okay, I'm sinning left and right. Believe me, I didn't understand. Well, how could that be? Even to this day, how could I have risked my eternity sinning after I have had that visit? And I believe that it was I believe that it was the enemy confusing me, keeping me away from blinding me from an actual event like that. And that's how strong they are. The enemy being the demons and the fallen angels and all of that. But I've sinned it for years. But fortunately for me, through all those years, my Father, Jesus Christ, was right there with me, protecting me. Because had I died, I'd have went straight to hell. And now, Fast forward to today. Through all of these years, I've been studying. Off and on, I'll be studying about, I was always still interested in how, even though I had that event, that experience, I'm like, where we come from? What is this thing with these UFOs and these aliens? And, we're taught about evolution and all these different things. And I'm still inquisitive. I would be doing small research about the Inca, the Peruvian kings. I would do research in Egypt. I was very interested in Egyptian discoveries and then life after death, i.e. through people having near-death experiences and how that. And I'll be curious about. Well, I can't wait to see if somebody come out and they have I remember they were going to put a camera to see the body when it comes out. All the different things. All these years, I was interested in all of that. Finally, on August, finally a year or so ago, I started really looking into Christianity a little bit, kind of like, did Jesus really exist? So what I did was I started looking for scholars outside of the Bible to see if there's this man named Jesus that wandered and walked in Jerusalem during that same time that the Bible had mentioned. Sure enough, Josephus, a number of Greek scholars, ancient writers during the time, these are science writers, all wrote and mentioned that yes, indeed, there was Jesus physically, without all the miracles, really was a person that existed. And I'm like, oh my goodness, then I'm starting to think a little bit now. Oh my goodness. So then,